Welcome students. So, in this period now we are going to learn about the outbreeding devices. Now, you know the meaning of outbreeding, that is outbreeding means cross pollination. Okay. Now, here the flowers produce some devices for cross pollination, and these devices, these are called as outbreeding devices. So, actually outbreeding devices are the mechanisms used to prevent the self pollination. Self pollination is avoided and to promote or to encourage the cross pollination. Okay. So, outbreeding devices are nothing but these are the mechanisms which are produced in the plants to avoid, to prevent self pollination and to promote the cross pollination. Now, we will see about the types of the outbreeding devices. So, see here the first type is unisexuality. You know here uni means only one. So, in the plants here the flowers are unisexual. So, when the flowers are unisexual, the plant produces either male flowers or female flowers like this. So, the flowers are not bisexual, flowers are unisexual, and such plants are of two types. They may be monoecious or dioecious. Now, what is the meaning of monoecious? You know mono means one. See here, when the plant produces two types of the flowers at two different places, such type of the plant is called as monoecious plant. And for example is maize. You know that in the maize, here suppose this is the maize plant, then here these are suppose the leaves, then here develops the female flowers. Okay. So, the female flowers they develop in group, so called as inflorescence. See here. So, this is the inflorescence of the female flower, and here at the tip, actually suppose this is the tip of the stem, then here develops the male flowers like this. So, this is the male flowers forming the inflorescence. Now, you know what is inflorescence, that is the group of the flower. So, female flowers and male flowers, they are produced on the same plant body. Okay. Such type of the plant is called as monoecious. समझ लाता? So, monoecious means a single plant produces male flowers and female flowers. So, in such flowers actually the condition is unisexuality. Now, second one is dioecious. So, in dioecious plants, so here we know the meaning of di means two. So, there is male flower and female flower. See here, the male plant produces male flowers. Male plant produces male flowers and female plant produces female flowers in this way. So, two plants are there. Okay. Two plants are there in dioecious, for example in papaya. So, male plant and female plant. Okay. So, in this condition also cross pollination takes place. Now, the second type is dichogamy. See here, in dichogamy the maturation period of androecium and gynoecium is different. So, here though there is presence of bisexual flowers, but the maturation period is of androecium and gynoecium is different. Hence, self pollination is avoided, it is prevented, and the cross pollination is preferred. So, such type of dichogamy actually it occurs in two conditions. First one is protandry, second one is protogyny. So, here pro means earlier. So, in protandry, here andry this word is for androecium. So, when in the plant androecium matures earlier than the gynoecium. आधी अँड्रोशियम मॅच्युअर होतो त्यावेळेस गायनोशियम मॅच्युअर झालेला नसतो. अशा वेळेस सुद्धा क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन होतं. ठीक आहे. अँड प्रोटो गायनी, प्रो मीन्स अगेन अर्लियर, so gyne for gynoecium. So when gynoecium matures earlier than androecium, in such condition also self pollination is avoided and cross pollination is preferred. Okay. Now the third one is prepotency. So prepotency means when the pollen grains of other plant, they fall on the anther, they germinate rapidly. And if the pollen grains of same flower or same plant when deposited on the stigma, they do not germinate or they germinate very slowly, but when the pollen grains of other plant germinate, they rapidly on that stigma. So this is called as prepotency. So this also avoids the self pollination and prefers the cross pollination. Then the next fourth one is heterostyling. So you know the meaning of hetero. Hetero means different. Okay. Now here in this condition different types of the flower, 2 to 3 types of the flowers are actually produced in the plant, and here mainly the anthers and the stigma, they develop at different levels. See here, suppose in this flower, this is the gynoecium. Suppose a carpel is there, but carpel it is situated deeply, and here suppose the stamens they are at the apex, and the stigma or the carpel it is situated in the deep of the flower. Or opposite may be the case, suppose this is ovary and these are the stigma, they are at the tip of the flower, but stamens are very short, they are situated deep inside the flower. Such condition where the anthers and stigma, they are located, they are produced at different levels. This condition is called as heterostyling. Now next one is hercogamy. So what is hercogamy? Hercogamy is actually, it is a mechanical device in which actually the bisexual flowers are produced by the plant, but though the flowers are bisexual, some natural physical barrier म्हणजे अडथळा, barriers are present between the sex organs, that is androecium and gynoecium. So this condition heterogamy avoids the contact of pollen grains with the stigma, though the flower is bisexual, and that's why the pollen grains of other plant, different plants, they are transferred to the stigma, and thus the cross pollination takes place and the self pollination is avoided due to this barrier. तो अडथळा त्या ठिकाणी असल्यामुळे. Now next last outbreeding device is self compatibility or self sterility. So actually self sterility it is a genetic mechanism, it is due to genes, genetic factor मुळे आहे. So what happens here in self compatibility? The germination of the pollen grain on the stigma of the same flower is inhibited. Inhibited म्हणजेच prevented. See here, suppose this is the flower, okay, and here stigma is there and suppose stamen is there. If the pollen grains of the stamen when deposited on the stigma of the same flower, stigma of the same flower, here there is no germination of the pollen grain on the stigma, no germination. But if the pollen grains of other plant, different plant, they are transferred on the stigma, then and then only the pollination is successful, that is the pollen tube is formed in this way. So here in self compatibility or in self sterility, the germination of the pollen grain on the stigma of the flower. It is inhibited, it is avoided. This is about the outbreeding devices. Okay, students.